All right, let's talk about a technology that's promising to completely reshape our reality. But at the same time, it's bringing a whole new set of risks to our security and privacy. We're talking about extended reality and spatial computing. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream anymore. These are powerful tools that are right now changing how we learn, how we work, and how we connect with each other. So let's get into it.
So instead of starting with a bunch of definitions, let's just jump right in with a real-world result that shows you just how big of a deal this is. This is where you see the hype is actually real. And honestly, the numbers, they're pretty incredible. 96%. Okay, just let that number sink in for a second. What do you think that is? A test score? Maybe customer satisfaction? The real answer is way more impressive.
That is the amount of time Walmart saved by ditching a full 8-hour training day for a single 15-minute experience in virtual reality. Think about that. An entire workday of learning completely squashed down into the time it takes to have a quick coffee break. Just wow.
And this isn't just a fluke. Research out of Stanford University found that training in XR is a whopping 76% more effective than the old-school methods. So the message here is crystal clear. Learning in these immersive worlds isn't just faster, it's actually fundamentally a better way to learn.
Okay, so we've seen the jaw-dropping results, but what is all this stuff really? It's time to decode this alphabet soup of tech terms, AR, VR, XR, and get a clear picture of what we're actually talking about. First up is augmented reality, or AR. This is where you overlay digital stuff onto your view of the real world. The classic example, of course, is Pokemon Go, where you see these little virtual creatures hanging out in the real world right through your phone. AR adds to your reality. It doesn't take you out of it.
Now, virtual reality, or VR, is a whole different beast. It doesn't add to your world, it completely replaces it. You put on a headset and boom, you're transported somewhere else entirely. A totally new computer-generated world, which is perfect for gaming, or for really complex training, like a surgeon practicing a procedure.
So here's the simplest way to remember the difference. AR puts a digital thing in your physical room. VR puts you into a completely digital room. One enhances your reality, the other replaces it. Simple as that.
And that brings us to the big umbrella term, extended reality, or XR. It's basically the catch-all phrase for everything we've been talking about, AR, VR, and anything else in between where the physical and digital worlds start to blend together. It's the whole shebang.
Now, all of this is leading to the next big step, spatial computing. You can think of this as the brains of the whole operation. It's the tech that doesn't just show you digital things, but it actually understands the physical space around you. It sees the walls, the table, your hands, and lets the digital world interact with the real world in a seamless way.
So how is all this tech actually being used? I mean, this isn't a someday thing. This is happening right now, in 2025, in some of the biggest industries out there. Let's take a look.
And yeah, we're not talking about some tiny niche market. The global XR market is on track to be worth over $87 billion by 2025. And get this, the biggest slice of that pie, a full 65%, isn't hardware or games, it's real-world applications.
I mean, just look at these examples. Emirates is using VR to train 23,000 cabin crew members for emergencies, all without needing a single physical simulator. In factories, workers are wearing AR glasses that guide them through really complex machine repairs. And in healthcare, VR training for surgeons is leading to a 50% gain in knowledge compared to old methods. This stuff is completely changing the game at work.
So the potential is obviously huge. It's incredible. But, with any powerful new technology, there's always a but. There's always a catch, a trade-off. There's a price you have to pay.
This ability to just seamlessly weave our digital and physical lives together, it forces us to stop and ask a really serious question. What are we actually giving up to get this?
And researchers are already raising the red flag. A 2025 study put it perfectly. The very thing that makes XR so powerful, how deeply immersive it is the exact same thing that creates these massive, totally new risks for our security and our privacy.
And let's be super clear here. The data we're talking about goes so far beyond what your smartphone collects. We're talking about devices that can track every tiny movement you make, exactly where your eyes are looking, and how you behave in virtual spaces. They can even read your involuntary physical signals to figure out how you're feeling. This is technology that could literally know you're feeling anxious before you're even consciously aware of it.
The jump in how much data is collected is it's huge. Think about it like this.
Your smartphone knows your location and what you type. An XR headset can know that, plus where you look, how you move your entire body, and even get a pretty good guess at how you feel. The level of personal data here is just orders of magnitude more intimate and, yeah, potentially way more invasive.
And the risks don't just stop with data privacy. There are physical effects, like cyber sickness, which is pretty much motion sickness from being in VR. There's the risk of someone stealing your identity by copying your realistic avatar. And then there's the very real danger of being manipulated in virtual worlds that are so realistic, it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't.
So, all this leaves us at a kind of crossroads, right? We've got this technology with absolutely mind-blowing potential for good, but it's also shadowed by some really profound risks. The big question is, where do we go from here?
The future of this technology, it's not set in stone. It could absolutely be a tool that unlocks incredible human progress, or it could become a new frontier for intrusion on a scale we've never seen before. Which path we go down really depends on the choices we all make right now, how we balance innovation with our ethics and progress with our privacy.
Which really leaves us with one last massive question to think about. As our digital and physical worlds continue to merge into one single reality, who gets to write the rules? Because those rules aren't just going to define the future of technology, they're going to define the future of what it means to be human.